Hello everyone! For this video, I'm creating a new profile picture to replace my old one currently on the YouTube channel, and I want to talk about a few things while the speed paint is going on in the background. So I don't know how well this entire recording is going to go. I'm just kind of speaking my thoughts aloud. I'm not following a script, so if it sounds a little bit jumbled, sorry. I'm not sure what to do about that. I know editing version of me is probably hating me right now for not following any sort of script, but it's fine. So yeah, let's get into all the stuff I want to talk about. So with the original profile picture, I wasn't really sure where I was going with it. I knew I wanted to have that design, and I was aiming closer to my video game persona, I think, because at the time, it just felt right. I was intending for my channel to mostly be for video gaming, but I did also want to include art in my stuff as well. And obviously, because I technically have a separate persona for that, I needed to include it somehow. On top of that, also, I was dealing with art block at the time that I made that original profile picture. So, as you can imagine, it didn't look that good. Now, I know sometimes people will say, oh, you know, it doesn't look that bad, it looks great, or whatever, and yeah, I mean, you would be right. Obviously, to any person, artist or not, who didn't make the artwork, they would not immediately see its flaws. But because I was having art block and because I had literally no inspiration for this, I guess, it didn't really turn out like I'd hoped. So yeah, I kind of scrapped it, but kept the general idea with this current one that you're seeing in the speed paint right now. So yeah, with this profile picture, I wanted to include a combination, I guess, of both my gaming persona and my art persona, kind of melded into one person rather than for them to be separate. Not to say that the two of them are meant to be separate, just more so that one of them that you see on screen is meant to be exclusively for art, whereas the other is meant exclusively for gaming. However, obviously it would make a lot more sense to combine their designs together when it comes to the overall channel, which was my idea to it, I guess. Now, obviously I should probably address the elephant in the room. I know probably a majority of you who are watching this probably don't know who I am. So you're probably not asking, oh, where has Mia's been? But to those of you who have, and who, for whatever reason, have been actively looking at the channel wondering, why haven't you posted anything in literal months? Life can be difficult sometimes. There's a lot that's happened in between my last post and now, and it's just kind of like juggling the important stuff with juggling what I'm basically treating as a hobby. Now, it would be nice for it to be kind of like a small job, I guess. I'm not expecting it to get anywhere big, but I had higher priorities, and unfortunately that meant creating videos for a YouTube channel that was mostly just meant to be a hobby kind of got put to the background. So yeah, I wasn't active for that reason, in between doing things like running a booth for a few artist alleys and taking care of some health issues, as well as this overall hesitation to start working on the channel again. I had this overwhelming feeling of self-doubt when it came to trying to start back up with videos again. I know I did have a few opportunities to try and record something in the past. However, it was that tiny little voice in my head saying, are you sure you want to do this? And obviously, that's why we're here several months later, is that I finally got that voice to not necessarily go away, but just calm down enough for me to make another attempt at starting up activity on my channel again. But basically, to just kind of give that general explanation, life had other plans that were, at the time, more important to take care of than a hobby that I wasn't actively doing anyway. The unfortunate part about that is that at the beginning of the year, when I first started semi-actively posting in January, one of my, I guess, New Year's goals was to actually start my channel. And I did want to keep to that goal. I wanted to post at least one video every month, like just at least one, because the thing is that I've learned pretty quickly that editing videos takes a lot, and I did already kind of know that in the past, but this really kind of put it in perspective for me, just how much work goes into a video and just hoping that it gets some good feedback in return. I mean, I don't even know if this video is going to get any traction at all. You're watching this speed paint and hearing me talk about, to most of you, what would probably sound like nonsense, because this is, I imagine most of you probably don't know me, and that's okay. I hope my first impression is alright. I obviously don't know, but yeah, I would like to talk about my plans going forward with this channel. I already had some things that I had planned for this channel already, and you can probably already see that in my previously posted videos. The main things that I wanted to do was art, obviously, as well as Minecraft, I think. There's not really a deep reason behind me wanting to play Minecraft. The real reason behind that is that my computer, for some reason, is able to handle and record that better than other games for some reason. I don't know what the actual science behind that is, but my computer is an absolute potato. It's the reason why I stopped streaming last year. But for some reason, something about the way that Minecraft functions on my computer just makes it work, and it's recordable. I don't know if that's a word, but I can record that for some reason, so it's the reason why I've been able to make content on that. I don't know if it's a performance thing or whatever, but whatever the case, those were my general plans at the beginning. However, now that I've kind of sat on my channel for just a little bit and not posted anything, I do realize I kind of want to branch out just a tiny bit more. I would like to add a couple extra games to my channel, as well as some other art ideas. My original intention for the art side of my channel was for it to only be original art. So it would just be things like my original concepts, maybe speed paints for designs that I'd add to my shop as stickers, prints, etc. As well as just some things that convey general thoughts and emotions, or even like a profile picture update like I'm doing right now. However, as I've started to think about it more, I felt like it would also be really nice to include fan work. Mostly things like speed paints, maybe some animations if I ever get back into that, as well as the possibility of making fan games. I'm not quite sure on that yet. That idea, compared to all the other ideas on my channel, is kind of at the bottom of the list, so I probably won't include that, but for sure I do want to create like fan speed paints, stuff like that, because I feel like that's a big part of me. I've always kind of just grown up in fandom spaces ever since I was really young. I know for sure I seriously started joining fandom spaces when I was 13, basically when I was given access to the internet, or rather less supervised access to the internet. That's a story for another day, but to make a long story short, I grew up in the world of fan art, if you will. It was one of the things that kind of started my passion for making art and content creation in general. Just the idea that I can create something out of my own brain and other people can appreciate it. There's something about that that's just so special. But anyway, I believe this is getting to the end of the speed paint. I don't really have anything else that I want to add, or at least not that I can think of. If there's something that's urgently important that I really wanted to add, I'll probably do it in the comments, or I'll make a separate video on it. I'm not quite sure yet. Either way, you guys will probably know as soon as I do something, as soon as I find something important, if I do. Thank you guys for watching all the way to the end. Really appreciate any sort of likes, follows, anything like that. You don't have to, just suggesting it if you want to. So here's the final product. I think it looks a lot better in my opinion. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.